All people are equal. It is not birth. It is virtue alone that makes the difference.
All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
You were only waiting for this moment to be free.
Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eye, there is war.
Into the light of a dark black night.
Hi, I'm Alexis Isaias.
And I'm Monica Bravo. We are currently in an LSU honors class called Life and Learning in the Digital Age.
We were asked to analyze a pop culture theory and relate it to technologies discussed in our class.
The pop culture theory we were assigned is race, racism, and representation. In order to fully understand the topic, one must understand the history behind it. Representation is the description or portrayal of someone or something in a particular way or as being of a certain nature.
Oftentimes, we are represented by our race, but from a biology standpoint, there is no difference between races.
We are all the same species. Race came about from people deciding to discriminate based on skin color and features.
In other words, racism is the product of human culture. It was not inevitable.
John Story says in his book on popular culture, "There is no reason why skin color is more significant than hair color or the color of a person's eyes."
Racism first emerged because the English were defending themselves about slave trade.
It started in 1774, when Edward Long, a British author, wrote that whites were superior and blacks were inferior.
From that point in time, racism and slave trade escalated.
The Civil Rights Act in America was not passed until 1964, which outlawed major forms of discrimination in our society.
Since then, our country has been changed dramatically by major technological advantages in society.
We no longer have to go rally in the streets to express our feelings about equality or racism.
Now, everything can be expressed online and through social medias.
For us to fully understand the state of racism and discrimination today, we decided to ask the opinions of people in our society.
We went to LSU's campus and randomly interviewed people about this topic.
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't think it's as prevalent as it once was.
Yeah, it's prevalent everywhere. It still exists. Everybody knows that.
Not really.
Well, honestly, yes.
Yes, but not as much as it was in the past.
Yes, I think so.
I think so to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's still in society.
I think so.
Yes, I think it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Kinda a little still, but not completely.
It most definitely is.
I think it definitely is, but it was a lot worse like back in the day, but it's definitely getting better.
No. Some places, other places, no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do absolutely think it is.
Yeah, I think racism is so prevalent today. Maybe not out in the open like it was in the past, but I think people still definitely think about it.
It's not talked about as much.
I think that people mostly read books by their cover.
Overall, it's not like, oh, there's racism here. It's more like just people in themselves, I guess.
It's not as hateful of a racism, I guess.
That people are trying to get rid of it, but it's something that's like, I don't know, it's something that I think is definitely still prevalent.
I think that racism is definitely a part of our culture, but my own personal beliefs have me think that race isn't really a matter.
I think that we like to think that we're accepting and we're equal, but I think it still is a big problem.
I think it's more in like social topics more than anything.
People don't express it, but you can tell that they are.
I've been living in Boston and in New York City, and I didn't witness any racism there. But when I came down here, I see a little bit of racism around every day.
I think that people make an active effort to make everyone feel on the same level, which in itself is kind of racism.
If you look on social networks and other things, people always calling other people bad names and racist slang and stuff, and even though it's not face to face, I think it's still here a lot today.
This infograph shows the percent of internet company founders by race: 87% white, 12% Asian, and 1% black. It has been tested that HP and Connect's face recognition only recognizes someone of the white race. Microsoft has recently added an app called Avoid the Ghetto. It has also been nicknamed Avoid Latinos or Blacks by many websites.
Our next question for our interviewers was, do you think technologies are racist?
I feel you see certain cultures, listening to big heavy headphones, and you see certain people, with their MacBooks all the time.
I don't personally think that there are any bars or limits on who can purchase what or who can use what. So.
I don't think so really, because I think if you look at all the different types of networks and stuff, every different type of race has it.
I wouldn't say race, I would say budget, or classes, like middle class, lower class. I don't think it has anything to do with race.
Not really, no.
I don't know if they're necessarily utilized more by certain races. I think that it can promote a lot of hate. No.
I wouldn't say that it necessarily is geared more towards one race than the other, but I believe that it gives a platform for racism to exist beyond physical boundary.
No.
I don't think so.
Matter of some companies would rather appeal to certain market segments, and if the segment happens to be of a certain race, they're just going after a certain appeal.
No, I don't feel like it is necessarily.
I mean, I think that any technology that's really developed isn't going to be for any certain type of people.
Yeah, for example, BETs, specifically for black people.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Well, some technologies are, but the others are not.
I mean, even you can be black and rich and buy an iPad.
I do not think so.
No.
And I don't really think it's about race, but more about just personal style.
Never thought of it. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, you can tell this car is for who owns the car.
No, I don't think so. I think everything's about the same. All of those objects are made for just universally used.
Yeah, there's certain things where the commercials look like they'd be geared towards certain races.
No, definitely not.
I mean, if it's produced for, all of culture or all of the country or something, then obviously anyone has access to it. So.
People are more vocal about things now, through social media.
I mean, Facebook is pretty much for everybody. It's universal. I think maybe certain races have more opportunities to use that type of technology.
After reviewing the answers we received today, we concluded the majority of people said racism is still prevalent in our society.
It was interesting that from the second question we received a lot of mixed responses and very good insight.
One of the answers we received about technology was that producers geared their commercials towards their prospective buyers.
The prospective buyers could be of a certain race.
In order to understand who the creators of the technologies geared their products towards, we decided to look at the advertisements.
The following advertisements are for technologies that we and our classmates presented on throughout the semester. Although all of these products could be utilized by a person of any race, all of those pictured in the ads are of the white race.
We randomly selected these ads from the list of technologies we have already presented on in class. There was no consideration of race.
As some of the people mentioned in the interviews, social media provides an outlet for people to make racist comments and jokes. Just because someone is of a certain race, they are represented by the prejudices held against the people of that race.
It is evident from looking at the advertisements and the e-cards that racism is still a problem today.
Although it may not be as outright as it was in the past, technology has provided an outlet for this huge problem to remain in our culture.